you guys want to do another analysis? We got the juicer we never went back and watched. This one will be shorter too. All right. Well, you guys wanted tracer analysis. So I said, okay, if you know what, screw it. You guys get tracer analysis. But I'm going to do it on my terms. We're going to review the worst tracer player in professional Overwatch. The worst tracer player in professional Overwatch. Can you guys guess who that would be? If you guys guessed, Donghack, the professional tank player, who's one of the best tank players in Korea and has the main tank character pool who can play Winston and all the other tanks amazing, you'd be correct. So recently, this is a few weeks ago, Donghack, who plays for T1, played versus Onside Gaming. And spoiler alert here, Onside Gaming has been struggling just a wee bit. They're not the best team in Korean OWCS right now, and T1 was up 2-0. And apparently T1 was like, you know what? We're so good. We can put our no aim, no brain Winston player on Tracer and win the match. So they role swap. They went all over the place. They put their DPS on tank and they swapped Donghack to Tracer. And spoiler alert, it may not be quite as bad as you may think, but we're not here to judge the result of the match or the map. We're here to judge what a no aim, no brain Winston player, even at the highest level, looks like on Tracer. We're going to be looking not only at the macro of how the composition and how Tracer positions, but obviously we're going to be looking very in detail at the micro, including the mechanics, the movement, the rotations, the cooldown usages, and so on, and kind of do a little bit of a masterclass of what you're looking for on Tracer, even if you can't aim all that well, which obviously couldn't be my Twitch chat. You guys are all phenomenally mechanically, right? Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Tracer responsibilities. So let's actually pull up our good old juicy blackboard here. And essentially what this looks like is when you're playing Tracer in ranked, you might have your tank applying pressure in main, and you might have a support or a DPS taking pressure here and applying pressure here. Tracer is all about short range off angles. If anybody have watched any of my sessions before, you understand that that means basically taking a side angle that might be very close to your team, or that might be very deep in the enemy backline and applying pressure. And when I mean short range off angle, I mean the distance between yourself and your target should be anywhere from 0 to 15 meters. Somewhere in that ballpark, you can actually go in the practice range and measure it out. The reason why this is the case is obviously because the limits of your weapon, but also because that allows you to use your blinks effectively, because Tracer generally likes to blink through targets to make them turn around when you're dueling them. So for Donghack here, what we really want to see is we want to see him taking angles from the side, either on the front line or on the back line, or just even on the sideline, and applying pressure from the side, and then using, once he's on those positions, wherever deep he may be, using his blinks to move, juke, damage, apply shots, distract, harass, force cooldowns, doing so at the same time that his team is applying pressure on main. They may not dive with him, they may not be in the same target as him, but they're going to be gosh darn shooting their weapons at the same time as him. And so what we do is when we look at Flashpoint here, there's a lot of little angles and corridors and flanks that you can take. So there's a lot of rotations that Tracer can find, a lot of angles that Tracer can find. The question is does Donghack have the experience to know where those positions are? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm expecting something that like resembles like a general familiarity with like the map, but I'm not expecting much mechanically. I'm expecting some ugly tracking. I'm especially expecting ugly trigger discipline. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. And I'm definitely not expecting good blink mechanics here. So Donghack, knock yourself out, my friend, but I have very low expectations. We're going to TP out. Why is this so fast? Okay, we're going to TP out to get spawn. All right, Donghack, why are we Tracer butting? Okay, thank you. So he rotates with his team to start, and he's probably going to divert off to the left or the right. Kilo's already dead. Okay. So this is a great example right here, where we don't have the replay code right now, so I can't really zoom out and show you. But there's pressure from his team on point from his tank line. Let me actually get a thicker line here. There's pressure from his tank and his team on point here. And so for attack to disengage this, he kind of has to fall this way off to the side to provide cover. The problem is when he does that, Donghack's going to be shooting right up at him from this side here. Crucially as well, Donghack has the cover of this pillar. And he also has his supports that can still see him, so if he does take damage, he's just going to get healed. So we've got this like little more conservative crossfire that we were talking about previously. So this just wins the tank trade. Okay, Tracer kind of catches him by surprise, so he's going to recall out. But the damage has been done. Striking is not too bad here. He doesn't have any blinks! No! Okay, so I'm not going to lie with you guys here. This isn't too shabby because both of his supports are dead. But in terms of aim and setup, I think first fight's actually pretty strong here. So I think T1 gets a little silly with it. You have a feeling we're going to see him caught by surprise by Addo a lot? Yeah. So the key thing when you take those angles, I won't pull the blackboard up again, is that, you know, the optimal scenario is that you got your team here applying pressure and you're off on the side and we're in a little la-la Cinderella land, right? The reality is that, especially at this level, you're not going to be by yourself on that angle. There's going to be a Tracer there, or there's going to be a Freya shooting at you, or maybe a Lucio shooting at you. And so really your first responsibility a lot of the time is to deal with the problem directly in front of you. Not the target, not the tank, not the backline, but who is on this angle, who is on this lane with me, and focusing on winning that trade first. Maybe not getting the kill, but at least forcing more resources from them than they force from you. And the worst thing that you could do is be surprised, right? We saw that earlier with the Cassidy, and now we're seeing it with Tracer, where Donghack gets his recall forced because he didn't see the Tracer there. Things are getting kind of hectic right now. This is where's our angle? We go off to the side. We're stacked with our tank right now, so we need to go off to our right. Yep, off to the side. And this is perfect, right? This is a bit of a mistake from onside, but we have everybody from onside on our screen right now, while we have a two-pronged approach from both angles. This is great right here. Now, this is the important question. Who should Donghack shoot? This is something that I see screwed up from even Tracers that are familiar with my coaching system. Who should Donghack shoot here? It's tricky, isn't it? There's a lot of variables to consider, right? You have a very low tank with the back turned to you, so that wouldn't be a bad target necessarily. But a lot of the times the target priority with Tracer, as you guys are seeing, is whatever's directly in front of your screen. Target focus is not a bad skill to learn, especially in devolved, messy late fights. Just kind of finishing off kills, right? But is not really very relevant early in fights, because you may not be in the position, if you're taking an angle, to shoot the same thing effectively as your tank. Like for us to shoot attack right now wouldn't be bad because attack's low, but it's going to cost us a blink to get close enough to shoot him, and that's expensive. So for me, I wouldn't mind going for hazard here, but it might just be easier to shoot the Freya or shoot the Lucio and capitalize off of the fact that attack is demanding all the attention, all the resources by killing something isolated. And at the very least, you'll pull attention back this way, and then attack dies because he's not getting support again. You kind of see what I'm saying? So it depends, right? So you actually see, that's actually not so bad tracking there, Donghack. Okay, hang on. I might have violated this guy. Hang on. I mean, this is like pretty good. And he also blinks to dodge the shot. Kilo's got his back turned. So I'm actually going to take this moment to slow this down right here. I'm going to turn the audio down so you guys don't have to hear the... So right from here... Oh, he actually double blinks. So he expects Kilo to flick onto him, and then he tries to predictively blink, but actually Kilo just didn't turn around. So he gives Kilo a little too much respect. Maybe Kilo predicts this. Predicts the blink blink, right? We're getting some crazy mind games here. But this is not optimal. This is not what you want to be with as a Tracer right now. Oh, he does! Wait, what? I mean, we're watching this at 0.25. So it's obviously happening way faster than this, but Kilo looks him straight in the eye and says, obviously that's not how it happened. We'll play at full speed in a second, but that's really funny. Donghack actually jukes a professional DPS player. We love that. So Kilo reacquires now, but the problem is that Donghack is using cover really well. So he can use this time to reload. So the cover is really important for flankers, guys. You could use it to reload. And then what do you guys think Donghack's going to do with this blink here? A lot of you might go, oh, he's going to blink through and shoot the Freya. And that would be good, right? I think maybe even better is to kind of jiggle peek and then blink, right? Force that bolt. Either one honestly works. Let's see, what can a tank player do? He's blinks. And you see he gets a little shot. He gets booped by Lucio. He's going to recall out. And this is where the importance of discipline comes in. You have won this fight. You got massive value. Not only did you start off this fight at a huge advantage, because, I mean, attack was 1 HP, the hazard was low, but you forced the Freya out of the fight. You forced the Lucio out of the fight. Relax. Let's see what he does. Don't force it. Just hold this angle. Be careful. Yeah, look at that. He knows I don't have resources to keep going anymore. Doesn't mean I AFK, it just doesn't mean I go for anything super aggressive and attack dice. And if you look, he actually even deepens his angle. A little bit of trigger discipline there. Okay, so we didn't talk about trigger discipline. Trigger discipline is when you do not finish your clip, because nobody's mechanically perfect, and with a lot of 80-80 strafing, you're more likely to miss your shot, so they'll pause their clip midway through, realign their crosshair, and finish your clip. That is especially important for Tracer because a lot of times you'll start to shoot half of your clip and then you'll need to blink. You don't want to force to finish your clip because then you might get shot in the face. So you start to shoot your clip, they turn to look at you, you pause, you blink, you reland your crosshair, and you finish your clip. That's as simple as I can clarify it. Because you're moving so much, your crosshair is erratic, you might not want to force yourself for a full clip, a full second of shooting. You might want to move midway through it, so you pause halfway through. That's also why you see a lot of melees. People weave in melees while they're moving around so they don't have to reload. If you look at this here, I want you to watch here. I'm actually going to make you guys suffer through the audio here. You see that little pause there? He resumes once he locks his crosshair back on Kilo. Now, obviously, you could point out that he probably shouldn't be shooting here. Maybe a little tickle to prevent the heal passive from kicking in, but this is too far, right? So just tickle and then try to get closer. But that's trigger discipline right there, and that's incredibly important for Tracers to be able to maximize. He tries to steal the Mega. Sadly, Kilo gets it. Now, if he'd had the perk here, he doesn't quite have it yet. He could have stolen that Mega and gotten an extra blink. But then now he's like, oh, crud, I might have overextended. Blinks back towards his team, and he gets out. Now, I gotta go back. Did Kilo really get juked? What happened here? You guys remember this? Yeah, Kilo really did get juked. Kilo absolutely... That was a very delayed reaction from Kilo. That's crazy, man. Kilo, come on, man. Drink the coffee. You know, get some sleep, brother. Taking a deeper flank. We've got Pulse Bomb. So he's going to take a deeper flank. He's lurking, he's lurking, he's lurking. Kilo sees him. Crud, I can't take that angle anymore. Wait, I can. Wait, he's rotating that way. Can I lurk? Can I lurk? Can I lurk? Oh, no, oh, no, no, no. He really doesn't want to use his recall here, but he might have to. Okay, so he gets the Mega. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is a little bit sloppy. So he's just being a little bit disrespectful to Kilo here and a little bit disrespectful to Opener here. Obviously, the last couple of duels I felt pretty comfortable. Doesn't feel like Kilo has been much of a surprise for us, but there's just not really any reason to peak this aggressively because you do basically 0 damage and the risk is very high. So even this right here, it's a little sloppy, right? He's taking too much damage, which means when the fight starts, he's not rotating. He's asking for healing and or grabbing a Mega health back. So when the fight starts now, he's just very, very late. So you just got to be really disciplined. It's not that you always have to go for a hard flank as Tracer. He is committing to the hard flank because that's what he wants to do. That's fine. But if you do go for a hard flank, you got to be really disciplined with when you're peeking. Because the deeper you are in the enemy backline, the harder it is to time things correctly and the worse poke damage feels. You get chipped down, you don't have a support nearby, you're screwed. So we're going to approach from this angle here, but we're very late. Oh my days. Okay, well, Lucio as well. We'll take that. I'm really surprised at how little attention the enemy team is giving him. This is really poor from Onside Gaming. Okay, this guy is him. He just locked. Finishes the target, not a bad clip. Keeps going because he sees Kilo low. Not the best tracking. By the way, trigger discipline. Look at the mid-clip pause. Check this out. We'll slow this down to 0.25. See, he's lagging his crosshair behind. Then he overcompensates, but watch. Pause. Realigns. Finishes the clip. You see it? And then even finishes with the blink melee because he has no more bullets. And then recalls back to safety. It's pretty good. He's going through the motions of doing the right things with Tracer. He's just not the best at doing them. You gotta get what I'm saying? This is how I'd like to see my Tracer players train. Doing the right things, just sometimes making mistakes at the execution. And he pulses the Hazard because Hazard's low and Hazard's moving an unpredictable arc. Now, you want to see something really funny here? What do you guys see in your screen right now? You see that? Do you know what that is? That's his mouse movement. It's a little known fact. So the replay viewer tracks your mouse movement after you're dead. So he just starts spinning his mouse around. Well, now, actually, to be fair, the person watching this replay also cranked it up, but he's just spinning the mouse around. Little ADHD going on here. Oh, he's going to flank again. Okay, man. This guy's really liking these deeper flanks. You don't always have to deeper flank. If you like that, what the map provides, you can do it. He needs that recall or that blink health pack perk, though. That helps out a lot. He's still going, man. And you can kind of see well, sometimes like these really deep flanks can be difficult on maps like these because nothing's really close to him right now, even though he went on the deeper flank. So he's not really getting close to anything. What is he going to do? Connects this way. This is good. Excuse me. So he's getting close here. Recall is a little odd. He looks a little lost in the sauce. I'm not going to lie with you guys. So he basically just kind of finishes off some kills there, but I don't think he really did anything uniquely useful. He just got kind of carried there. They used a lot of ults. Nice. Good finish. We're flanking again. We're flanking again. Who wins this 1v1? Actual DPS player or Donghack? I guess nobody. We are focusing on Tracer here, but the elephant in the room is that Donghack has been basically ignored and just cleaned up 50 HP targets for most of this VOD. I mean, he's just kind of, yeah, I'm on the flank. Just gotta kind of shoot some people here. So, yep, that was that. He sets up on a deep flank. He times his pressure relatively well. He closes the distance and shoots what's available. GG's. Who's better, Super Genji or the Dong Tracer? Do you guys remember when I reviewed the Super Genji? It wasn't too bad. It was not good mechanically, but he was doing okay. Uh-oh. He's synchronizing again. You notice the pressure. He always follows his tank. Not quite literally behind his tank, but he waits for a distraction to happen, either by the enemy team diving his tank or just even them shooting each other. Then he goes in. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Onside has done a terrible job looking at flanks and looking at offense. They're just letting him come in for free. This feels a lot like a plat lobby in terms of the team execution. No offense. But the point being is that the timing of these things is really good. And even the way Donghack approaches his target here, if you look, he comes in from here, but he blinks to cover. And the cover allows him to get to a target that's significantly closer than the Kiriko, right? That's too far. She's way too far. So just shoot what's available. And that means that we now have both of our blinks and our recall to duel this Freya instead of having to use our blinks to close the distance. That's why setup is so important. It's what allows you to fight without having to burn your blinks before it. There's the blink. Dude, oh, he did it again. You guys see it? He's got that tool in his back pocket. The blink, you know? You'll see that a lot. A lot of like inexperienced players will just memorize a combo and do it kind of without thinking. So like again here, Kilo is still not locked onto him yet. You see that? So really he should not blink here. He should reload, wait for Kilo to turn, and then blink, right? So use that time to reload. Instead, he double blinks, so he's not quite ready to shoot yet. You kind of see what I'm saying? So you see it a lot in like sparring, right? Whether it's with jiu-jitsu or stand-up, where people will memorize a combo and repeat the combo, and that's a great initial start, but you want to start understanding when that combo is good and when that combo is bad. So Donghack isn't that good at Tracer, so he's just kind of doing the blink thing. That's kind of a combo he likes, and he just does it over and over again. But to be fair, it is working. Right, it's like combo spamming in fighting games. It's not bad to do that. That's just one layer of understanding. You do the combo spam to get familiar, so you have a tool in your back pocket, and then you start to expand outside those rules and to experiment more. So we got poked down, so we had to run away. Now, this is a really little thing here, but this shows the game sense that Donghack has here. So he's on the angle, he's on the flank, he's by himself. He hears people chasing him. He doesn't even see them. He hears them. Listen. You see it? Sojourn, Lucio, Tracer. He hears 3 people coming after him, and he knows his team is not fighting. They're rotating the point. This is so hard to do when you're that deep on the flank, to understand how many resources do I have. Do you guys remember the Kevster principle video, right? When you have resources, you cannot force advantages unless you have a resource advantage. If this is a 1v1, Donghack takes it. It's not a 1v1. He hears 2 people, at least, maybe 3. Just live. Just run away and live. Your team will capitalize off it. Trust. So he respects it. He doesn't even see it. He just hears it. He knows. He runs. Then as soon as they ignore him, he comes right back. He's just never overstaying to the point to where he dies, but never understaying to the point where he's not actually doing anything. Because if you look here, he's a little late. But he'll be there right on time. This fight is just not breaking out on point. Hazard is just engaged, and now Donghack is here. You see it? Beautiful, beautiful. And once again, this guy is loving these deep flanks, man. Now, I want you guys to notice something. No need to do any crazy strafing if the target's not looking at you. You see that? Barely moves at all. Kilo responds with a slide. Donghack responds with a blink. And a blink again. There's the Suzu. Donghack's head explodes. Okay. Well, Kilo got his one. Full speed. You can tell it's just a little bit of a disrespect there in terms of he probably didn't know the rail charge. That's the problem with Sojourn. They build rail so incredibly fast. They reach that break point really fast because they don't need to save it up for a 250 HP per character. It's only 175 HP. But yeah, it was a good shot. My feedback for Donghack so far, I'll hold off for now. 1v1, we can take that. We can also grab the health pack underneath here, so we'll probably enter this at a slight advantage. And by the way that you take a Tracer duel is the exact same way that you take almost any other duel in terms of how you use your blinks when you're up close, with one exception. When you're this far away, there's really no point in blinking because you're equal in your ability to hit shots. But when you get closer, like let's say here, if you can blink and dodge, you can do the exact same thing to Tracer that you do to a different hit scan. It is who can track those movements better. At this range, it's basically just tracking though, just aim. That's all. And if you notice, Donghack really isn't that interested. He doesn't like that off angle. It's kind of naked. He's got pulse bomb. He wants to go in. Now, Addo should chase this, I think. Addo's right here. But he doesn't, I guess. I am so confused by the Tracer play from the enemy team right now. He's right. It's not that you have to mark Tracer if you're Addo. It's that you're right there and Tracer's right there. And what else are you going to shoot? And I don't know. I guess he has Pulse Bomb as well, but you're right there. He just used blinks. You can, yeah, it's been very confusing. And so now you've kind of given the floodgates open here. It's not bad because he had Pulse Bomb as well. Okay, let's look at this Pulse Bomb here. This is just a bit of a reach here from Donghack. He has to go in so face first. Now, this is the problem with Pulse Bombs. How many of you guys are familiar with the 180 Pulse Bomb tech? And by that, I mean you blink through a target behind a target, like he was blinking behind Kilo, and you do the Pulse Bomb, right? You guys know that, right? Basically, probably everybody in chat knows that, okay? So, why is that tech good? Why would anybody force himself to do a 180 before doing a pulse bomb? Can you imagine if that was the thing in the NBA? Like, oh yeah, before you shoot a free throw, just spin. You know why? Why would you ever do that? Yeah, so you get the juke, right? So you get the dodge first. That's true, but that's only about half of the value. There's more than that. The other thing as well is why does he miss this shot? Why does he miss this pulse? How is Kilo moving? Let's actually slow this down. I mean, this is impossible to see here. But strafing, right? You see Kilo? We're strafing back and forth and back and forth. All the damage is coming in from one direction, so Kilo's going to strafe. And when you do that, it makes it very hard to hit a pulse bomb. So the reason why people do 180 pulse bombs isn't just because, oh, you can dodge a shot, yeah, but because when you blink through a target, they stop strafing. Instead, what do? They turn around. And when people turn, they're not strafing nearly as effectively. They're moving much more predictably. So if you blink through and pulse, you will catch them doing this and not this. Now, it disorients you, absolutely. So it takes practice to get to where that doesn't bother you as much. But the disadvantage of disorienting you slightly is generally more than compensated by the 180. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I don't think there was space for the blink 180 pulse, right? There was no real room behind him. I look at this fight right here, and to be honest with you guys, they're already down one, Beat's active. There's no real room to move. There's no real angle. This is just kind of a cooked fight for T1. So there's not a whole lot more. Oh, wait, stop. Hang on. Hold your horses. Wow, it's loud. Okay. Tank player, by the way. He gets this one. They're looking. Can he live? He knows there's going to be a lot of resources on me, but if I play this Mega, they can't push me. You think you missed the nuance of the 180 versus the 90 pulse bomb? Explain. 90 pulse bomb is the same, very similar thing. It's a little bit less disorienting. And the other thing with 90 degree pulse bomb is it also makes it less predictable about where to block. It's really good versus Brigittes because a lot of Brigittes are used to the 180 pulse. But if you 90 degree pulse, it requires them to turn to the side. It's a lot harder to block but I don't really want to get into the weeds of that too much right now. 180 is to blink around someone close to you. Right. 180 is to blink around somebody close to you because by throwing yourself through them, you can close the distance. And if you try to blink pulse, you have to get the 90-degree pulse bomb and blink pulse bomb, not 180. The spacing is really important, right? As you said. Whereas with 180, it's a lot more forgiving. So when you're closer to your target, you 180 pulse bomb. When you're further away, you either 90 or you straightforward. Zest mechanics more valuable in Hazard? No, they're trolling. Ronan, they're just trolling. They are straight up trolling. Lurking, looking for opportunities. Playing cover from the Sojourn. Oop, Sojourn's too far away, so I can either use all my blinks to chase Sojourn and maybe die, or blink to an angle where Sojourn cannot see me and shoot tank. Little bit of trigger discipline there would have been nice. I think he could have paused his clip there, but just like he did there. That was good. Holding this off angle. 2 more fights to win, I believe, here, if T1 plays their cards right. Listening, lurking. They know he's here. Okay, they're all coming after him. I gotta live. Again, very, very quick to apply pressure. Very quick to quickly disengage anytime that pressure multiplies into 2 or 3 people. So important when you're playing a flanker, because you will swing from either getting 0 attention or everybody's attention all the time. Now we're tailing. Notice he's still on the flank too. He didn't run back to his team. He stayed on the flank. Shooting what's available. Who's the closest? It's good pressure. Oh, that's cheeky without recall. Yeah, I was going to say, you cannot get away with that without recall. So what would you guys do here? You don't have recall right now. How would you play this? So I think he's trying to stall point, which is why he touches. But to be frank, I think the most important thing here is just to win the fight, because I don't think this fight's won. I think this is a very losable fight. You need to focus on your value output here. What would you do here? What would you guys do here? Shoot corner, farm pulse bomb. Yeah, I think just kind of play passively here, right? Like maybe poke the tracer a little bit, juke dodge, kind of dodge. Maybe go, if anywhere, go over here to the mini on the other side there where there's cover, and we get another blink from getting that mini as well. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't try to stall. I see a lot of players, even in higher ranks, dying for stall when there's a very losable fight. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a little bit silly. Even for the stall, you would just blink and then blink back. You wouldn't blink deeper and then blink out. And so he dies for that. I somehow win that. That's crazy. Good angle here. What's he gonna do? Again, finishes just somebody else's kill. Zest just... Oh, almost. So let's look at that pulse bomb here. Blinks to close the distance. And then he leads his pulse with where he sees the Lucio going. So let's slow this down. Did he overflick? Did he underflick? Did Lucio juke it? Yeah, he overflicks because Opener just freezes. Opener doesn't keep going. That happens. Like even the best pros are going to miss pulses because it is a projectile. It is a prediction, excuse me. But yeah, that was okay. Keep shooting the target. Don't die. Steals the mega. Lives the slash. Can he finish the kill? Attack is low. Don't die. A little bit of trigger discipline. Oh, got slashed. That's okay. And we win it off. Nice. Dong hack. Feedback, my friend. The flanks were fine, I guess, for the map. You did a great job responding to enemy attention and quickly responding accordingly. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more discipline with respect to range. I think a couple of our mistakes were just got off to a really good start at the beginning, and so there was a lot of disrespect to the amount of range poke that those characters could give, so being a little bit more disciplined with their setup. And then when maps flipped, right, I think the key thing would be like this pulse bomb situation. If we go back to even, was it this one here? Yeah, so in this situation, just taking these more devolved fights more patiently. This is a devolved fight. Just settle down, pressure whatever angle that you can safely, and look for opportunities. I would say the same thing here when we try to stall point. It's this devolved fight. You don't have recall. Play it patiently. Whether you're missing resources or whether you just don't have a very good angle, the best thing you can do is just take it slow. Take your opportunities, win the slow trade. I look at Tracer and Duvall fights similarly to how I look at a high charge Zarya. You can absolutely pull fights out of the gutter because of your consistent pressure output. So I think a lot of what Donghak was trying to do was trying to do too much when his position didn't allow it, right? And instead of taking a new off angle, I think the fundamentals of how he moved and how he played was really good. I think obviously he's got his little blink combo, which he had done a few times, which was good. But obviously as he would get better at mechanics, he would know when and where that's appropriate. Yes, I think Donghak definitely plays a lot of Tracer. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play a lot of Tracer. The way that he moves and rotates feels very comfortable. It's not great mechanically. It's very good mechanically, but it looks very comfortable. Yeah. How much do you think his tank skill carries over? I don't know. Like, just general game knowledge and also mechanics. Like, it doesn't matter how unmechanically demanding a character like Winston or Ryan or whatever are, at least in relation to just raw tracking, it carries over. Just getting comfortable with moving your mouse and aiming, it adds up. Yeah, this is very clearly, I think, very clearly Grandmaster Tracer, easily. So yeah, I would be shocked if he's not Grandmaster on Tracer. And obviously the team play from T1 was just crazy. I mean, everybody in this lobby is like obviously top 10 on ranked. I mean, they're all insane. Even onside, these are insane players from like a ranked perspective, but the team play from T1 is just way better. Okay, any questions, y'all? Isn't this pro level? I mean, yes, but you have to remember these guys role swapped. This is a tank player on Tracer and a DPS player on tank. This is a bit of a BM move. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.